Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am Ashley. I'm a homeschooling mom with 7 kiddos. Our oldest is 12, almost 13, down to a year. I wanted to do kind of a broad video on some things with as far as middle school, kind of where my mind is at for next year. We will have an 8th grader, which blows my mind. But I wanted to I have not picked out curriculum necessarily, although I do know things that I'm sticking with and things that, that we're maybe not going to focus as much on. As we get closer to high school years, obviously the curriculum kind of choices and pieces and subjects narrow down more and need to be a little bit more specific as it relates to high school transcripts and that kind of thing. So I always look and see, I've mentioned this before, what our local ISD is, what he would be doing in public school, because I want to make sure that I keep up with everything. I want to make sure that I do, I say lightly, what I'm supposed to do, but do what is required in order for graduation, and to make sure that he has all of those things. So I'm just going to kind of do a recap on what I've done a middle school update, but I'm focusing a little bit more on what I know that I'm going to keep and what I know that I need to find for him for next year. And obviously getting close to summer, this is the time that I look into it and that I really narrow down my choices and what I need to focus on. So for math, I have mentioned we used Math UC this year, new, as a new curriculum. I had not used it before for any of my other kids. This was the first time he had used it. We have gone back and forth with math curriculums with him because the Good and the Beautiful does not have his level math. But I also think he's at that age where he needs a little bit more cut and dry as opposed to trying to keep him entertained with math. He has that public school mentality because he was there through 3rd grade. So he knows, he kind of knows the cut and dry of it. And we have really enjoyed it. And I think I did an update on that. If I did, I will post the link here. But that is what I will continue to do. I believe it says, I tried to look at it the other day online, and I believe we're doing pre-algebra now. But I believe algebra is the next one. However, I remember doing it pre-algebra, geometry, algebra, but maybe I'm totally wrong and maybe that's changed, but maybe that is right. Because I'm horrible at geometry, and I remember doing that, I think, in middle school, unless that was 9th grade. Anyway, I need to make sure on that, but not that it really matters necessarily, as long as you do both of them with order you do them in. Pre-algebra, he's doing pretty well in, and I enjoy helping him with that because it's something I'm actually kind of good at, not geometry. And so I need to look at the Math UC, the algebra. We have not done the manipulatives that comes with it, so I need to see if that's something I need to purchase for algebra. I'm thinking no, because he did okay with it this year, without it this year. But that is what I plan on using for math. We have done, just like I said, so many different math curriculums, and that is what has worked. And it's not frou-frou-y, it's not colorful, there's not games or anything like that, but it works for him. So we're gonna stick with that. History, I have combined this year the history with our 4th grader because it was the same, Texas history. And that's worked well. This year, I need to see what hers is going into 5th grade. But I figure she can probably do whatever he's doing, because I don't think it's super specific for 5th grade. I think it's more like a social studies thing as opposed to history. When you get into middle school and high school, you focus more on time periods as opposed to like the social studies aspect and the good citizenship and whatnot. So for 8th grade, it lists that he would be doing like from the beginning to up to 1877. So I was doing some research, and we have used off and on. I haven't been super diligent about the Knotgrass geography, the 50 states, but I like the way the curriculum is set up. So it's just because time has kind of gotten away from us, and I always make sure that my kids focus on their main subjects and that those are done. And sometimes by the time those are done, whether we have to be somewhere or, whatever, it just flies. And so sometimes we are not as diligent about that. We're really not that diligent about that. But they do have, I forget what it's called. I want to say it's like American Story or something like that, with Knotgrass that I can use. And I think it goes up to 1870s that I can use. And it's a little bit more, I like that to be kind of fluffy, and not so cut and dry. I want it to be engaging for them. And so what I've seen on that curriculum has been very positive. So I am going to look into that more. I'm thinking that's probably what I will do. I will try and combine both my 5th grader and my 8th grader together because I can. When she gets into 6th grade, we'll have to, it's literally year to year. I have got to figure out what they're doing, if they can do it the same, if one needs to do something different, or if I can just have her tag along with him, because that has seemed to work well. Doing it aloud and doing it together has worked well. Science, I have been lax about that. I mentioned in another video, I can't remember which one, an update video of some sort, that science has kind of fallen to the back burner, which I need to focus more on. And that was my goal for this semester, was to pick back up and focus on those subjects that I was kind of falling behind on, that aren't like necessary subjects. Obviously science is necessary, I think, but as far as like language arts and math, those are what I need them to do first and foremost. So I plan to do unit studies again, I think. I think his science is still like the general science, just like a mishmash of things. And so I think I can still focus on those unit studies. I use the good and the beautiful when I do it. And that seems to work well because it gives me enough stuff to work with. And they're always coming out with different, unit studies. And it's fun if I can gather all of the information and gather all of the stuff that I need. And it's just been kind of a struggle to keep up with that. And so I really want to focus more on that. But I think ideally I'm still going to do the unit studies for now. So because I can. And obviously when it comes to high school and we get into chemistry and biology and all that, that's going to be a different story. But right now, while I can, I plan to do it together. Handwriting, I think this is the last year that the handwriting goes up to for the good and the beautiful, which is fine. He does cursive. He does it with flying colors. So I'm not concerned with handwriting. That is something he can toss. Occasionally maybe I'll find something that I can have him practice with, or, everything nowadays is like typing. And so a lot of people don't get that penmanship practice that, we used to get. So, I'll kind of play that by ear, but as far as an actual curriculum, I don't plan on him having that. The vocabulary, I like the vocabulary. I'm going to kind of look and see if there's something more, I feel like it's challenging, but I'm going to see if there's something that I need to focus more on as he gets closer to high school. As you talk about like SATs and PSATs and all that kind of stuff, is there a curriculum piece or a book that he should be working on to better prepare him for those tests? So I plan on doing that. Health, I kind of do that. I've mentioned that I kind of do that aside from school. And that is, like the changes, books, and things like that. I did end up purchasing another book ahead of the one that I did a video about, that has gone well. I need to focus more on it and actually pen aside more time to do that and to finish that so that I can move on to the next book. But for both of them, my fourth grader and my seventh grader, I got a book prior to that. I will link the video of the books that I got for them. But I ended up getting a book prior to that kind of explained more like your body changes and things like that. That was a little bit not lighter, but kind of a precursor to the books that I had bought before. So I would like to focus more on that, and I'm going to see, I think ideally, they have the curriculum books that are health, but I think what I have is ideal, because that's kind of a however you want to teach it thing. What is your preference? How do you want to teach it? What kind of teaching style there's just various ways you can go about this. And hygiene is included in those books that I have. So that was kind of a precursor that I also wanted to kind of emphasize, is the hygiene aspect of everything. So obviously that's important. So I just wanted to kind of give a general, broad, I say update, but where my mind is, where my head is at, as far as going forward into 8th grade. I have started to do some research. I have started to look at my options, and I have started to see where can I combine. Oh, language arts, that's what I forgot. Language arts, so for the Good and the Beautiful, the level 7 is the last one that they do for a full-on grammar curriculum. In 8th grade, the Good and the Beautiful moves to book studies. I'm going to do a little bit of research on that. I want to make sure that is enough. I am horrible with sentence diagramming and all of those things. And so every time he asks me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to look at like the course companion book, because I did horrible at that. I have never been able to do well with sentence diagramming. And so I need to kind of do a little bit of research on that and see more specifically what they would be learning. Are book studies enough? Is that kind of, they do have high school level courses, so I'm not worried about the high school. But is there another option that maybe would better fit what he would be doing and what he needs to focus on? Is it a little bit more tailored to what he should be learning? I am okay with book studies. I think that's a good thing to do. I think it's a good thing to, for your brain and for your mind and all of that. But that is something that I'm going to look into. But as far as the literature, grammar, or the grammar aspect, that stops for the Good and the Beautiful at 7, and then it has the book studies, and then it goes to high school. So I am not in a rush to have him like go ahead and do these extra, I don't want to say credits, but like high school credits early, like in that's another thing I need to look at. So I remember in middle school, I think French or foreign language in 8th grade. You could take that early to take the place of a high school course. I'm going to look into that, because he has wanted to do this. He is German. We are both, my husband and I are both part German, but he is more so. And so our name is very German. And so I know that is something that he wants to, that our 12-year-old wants to learn, would like to learn, but I know he's been interested in learning a foreign language. And over the years, I've kind of looked at like various curriculums, but if that's something that he can get credit for, but at the same time, like I said, I am not in a rush to get all these credits like ahead so that he can graduate early and all that. That is not my goal. My goal is not for him to graduate early. I do not have that mindset. I do not have that mentality. I have no desire to have him graduate early. It's not important to me. And I don't, if you're in public school and you want to get all these credits and you want to get the heck out of there, by all means. But as a homeschooler, that is not my goal as a homeschooling parent, to make him finish early. Like, why would I want that? So I need to look at that and see. I am not into getting all these, dual credit classes, and I know you can do that, but I don't know. That's just not something that I'm interested in, and I don't think that's something that he's interested in either. Why rush it? So, anyway, that is where my mind is. That is where my kind of what I need to focus on and what I need to narrow down. You don't have as many choices as you get higher up. So it's takes a little bit of load off of me to not have to worry about that as much, and worry about making all these choices and am I making the right choice and all this, where I can look at it and see the choices made for me. This is what he would be studying in school, in public school, this time period for history. Now my only job is to find the curriculum that I want to use, and do research on that. And I go on YouTube, I go on blogs, I go on whatever, and see what people's opinions are of this. And I can tell you, I can look if they do a flip through and I look and I see and I don't like the way it looks, it's not visually appealing as far as a history course or something like that, then that's it. Like, I'm not interested in that, because I know my kids' learning styles, and I know that would not fly with some of them. So that's that. We are kind of finishing up this year. We are a little slower, maybe slightly behind, but we'll catch up as we always do. Anyway, if you have any questions, if you are a homeschooling parent, an 8th grade parent, or you are looking into 8th grade year, if you have any suggestions on curriculum pieces that you like, that you really, really like, let me know down below. Or if you have any good channels that you recommend as it relates to homeschool, middle school, 8th grade, kind of, I have not dabbled yet into getting ready for high school. I know there are a lot of channels that I follow that have those videos on them that talk about preparing for high school, because I think that is a whole nother ball game, that and transcripts and all that, and making sure everything is right and everything is recorded and you do everything correctly, and making sure that you have the knowledge and you have the information that you need to get that done. So let me know down below if you have any comments or questions or any advice if you are a middle school parent, homeschool parent, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.